Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Josie, and I went recently to New York to play some chess. Here I am in Washington Square Park for the first time ever playing a chess hustler. I also went to Chess Forum recently. Basically, it's the version of Washington Square where you could play with kids instead of chess hustlers, so there's no money involved. Now, when it comes to here in Washington Square Park, I met Thomas, who I'm playing with right now, who's actually a very nice guy, and we played. He asked for a donation rather than a bet because most hustlers will actually ask for a bet where they'll be like, hey, it's $5 for a 3-minute game, but if you beat me, you get all your money back. I wasn't interested in such shenanigans, so I was actually lucky that he only asked for a donation. And now we didn't have any money, but we ended up buying the guy a pizza, 2 slices of pizza, and a soda afterwards. So always make sure to show your appreciation for the people that play chess here because most of the time they depend on you for food. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this game started with analysis. Here we go.
We're on.
Yes, sir. What's your name? I'm Thomas. Nice to meet you, Thomas. I'm taking out my gloves for this. Alright. So this variation is a very solid way to play as white, since the whole point is to get rid of the light squared bishop and put your pawns on the light squares, therefore not having a useless piece. This is called the Maroxy bind, and basically it's supposed to prevent any central breaks on d5, making d5 impossible for black, and or b5. So he moved the queen there, which is kind of sketchy because it's being attacked by the bishop. So he realizes that, moves it back. My move order is a little messed up because I could have played f3 before castling, but it is what it is. And now I play a little bit haphazardly myself. a4 is not normally a move played since that pawn supports b3. Now b3 is not supported by the pawn, and so the knight goes ahead and attacks it. I thought my knight on d4 was supporting it, so I ignore it, but I didn't see the attack e5, so that was definitely not a good move by me. I could have played rook b1 on the previous move. You can see me smiling right now, thinking, what have I just done? Did I just lose the game? I'm being recorded for Pete's sake. So, a lot of pressure on me here, but I'm thinking, what should I do? Should I just give up the game, or how do I continue? Well, when you're about to lose something, you should definitely just cut your losses instead of playing risky, okay? Unless you feel like there is, but this is a solid way to play for white. So if white makes a mistake, white doesn't really have anything going on. So I decided to cut my losses, and he wins the base, which was supposed to be supported, but it's not, and therefore my queen side falls. I pretend that nothing's wrong is going on, and I just try to get back in the game, try to get back up. Now he knows he has me, but he moves the queen to c7. That could be attacked by the bishop. Now I want to play knight d5 and do a discovered attack soon, but my king was on the back rank, so I move it out the way, and he decides to put all the pressure on that open file correctly. But now I decide to play a little forcing variation here, where I attack the queen and it must stay on the c file or just simply go back. Now the queen goes there, and it can get attacked by the knight on e7, forking royally the king, rook, and queen. So therefore the knight does have to capture here. I'm playing a forcing variation. When you're playing forcing, you're making the other guy think, and the more you make him think, the likelier he is to make a mistake, since he has to think more and more. He's like, hey, I wasn't thinking before, now I gotta think. So I realized that my tactic isn't exactly gonna work, but that doesn't matter because it's the whole complexity that he has to see through, and unfortunately he doesn't. He makes a huge mistake here. He couldn't keep the queen on the c file, so he has to protect the rook this way. It's essentially a waste of a move. So I do a little trick where the rook can now capture. It's an X-ray attack, for those wondering, and I basically just got back in the game. The game is not over, however, as he has 3 pawns for a piece, 2 of which are passed. Now, what I do have going on for me, though, is an attack. I have the bishop pinned down, and his king is in trouble, sort of. So what I have to do next is I have to find some way to checkmate the guy. Now I'm thinking playing bishop e3 and bishop h6, but that's too obvious, right? So let me improve the position of my knight and also prevent any rook a2 ideas where he can pin my own knight. Therefore, I need to get way more active here, and so I decide to play knight to c3. I'm thinking about getting that knight to f6 or knight to g5 and then knight to e6. The whole idea is to get the knight to e4, and from there everything's gonna flow pretty good. You got to get your pieces in strong positions. Okay, it's not about winning the pawns. I really don't care about pawns because this ain't checkers. So you gotta win by checkmating the king. We gotta get the guy on g8. Now what I'm thinking about is what's the best way to continue. Okay, and I already said it's knight c3. I'm expecting rook b4. That's all I'm calculating here. And then after that I was going to play bishop to e3. Maybe he was going to play rook b2 check. Then I would just get my king to e1. Definitely not g3 where he can get attacked by his pawns, and possibly an f5, f4 fork. Okay, now he plays a pretty bad move, honestly. Rook a3 is not doing anything at all. It's not attacking the bishop. It's actually just not doing anything. So now I can actually do the bishop e3, and so now I'm just thinking, is knight e4 better now? Should I stick to my tunnel vision, or should I now go for bishop e3? And definitely I abandoned my original idea because bishop e3 is now better. You shouldn't always abandon your original idea, but in this case it definitely is good to do that. So I'm just calculating if there's any tricks or maybe even bishop d8 was better, followed by bishop to e7, but it's clearly not. Or, I'm thinking about the different move orders where this can all happen. So I have 4 minutes left on the clock, and it's plenty of time for me to think. So I'm just making sure I don't miss anything in terms of what's the best way to continue. I am threatening bishop h6 now. He should play king g7, followed by f6. Unfortunately, he doesn't, and that's a pretty easy one for me. Yeah, so he realizes he lost the game. So now it's just a matter of time before he plays a move or shakes my hand. So let's see what he does. You always pretend the game's going on, not to be rude at all. It's always rude to pretend you already won, but he has to shake the hand first, and then that's when you shake his hand. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. I got all the chess hustlers like curiosities. Definitely a good way to enjoy New York. So make sure you like this video. If you did, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.